Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I am going to do a video on simplifying radicals. I've seen a couple students struggle with this, and I've kind of figured out a way using the idea of cards to make it simpler. So I'm going to use an image of cards to try to make this simple. Also, I did a video earlier, but I had a couple big mistakes in there. I just misspoke. So I wanted to redo it and put out something that doesn't have those kinds of errors. So let me jump into this. Um, yeah, so one of the images I want to use is if you know how to play cards, if you've ever played cards, and you understand that sometimes you're going to be looking for two pairs of the same kind of card, or three pair of the same kind of card, or four pair, then you can use that to simplify radicals. And I'm going to go over four examples showing you how we're going to use that image. All right, so on my screen, you see I've got some cards here. This is a deck of cards. So you know it has twos and threes of different suits, spades, diamonds, hearts. But what I'm interested in is I'm interested in the pairs of cards that are the same. So in this case, this is a pair of aces. Okay, so that means you have two of the same kind, or same kind of number or denomination. Now this would be a three pair. So you see we have, let me use this. We have a two here, we have a two here, we have a two here. So this is a three pair. Also, if you look at this, we have a four, and a four. So again, this would be a three pair because we have three of the same kinds of cards. Okay, so that's the idea. So two pair, three pair, and then this would be a four pair. So you've got four aces, but it doesn't matter what the actual denomination is. What you're looking for is you're looking for four of the same numbers or types of cards. And that's important. Now, the reason that I'm using that is when you are doing square roots, trying to simplify square roots or cube roots or fourth roots, I want you to, we're going to be using this image. For instance, if we were, let me set this up. If we were trying to simplify a square root, we would be looking for things, we're looking for pairs of numbers that are the same. So in this case, square root, we're looking for two of the same kinds of cards. If we were doing cube roots, we were looking for three of the same kinds of cards. Like these twos would qualify because this is a three pair. If we were looking for the fourth root, we would be looking for four of the same types of cards. So now we're going to use that image of three pairs, two pairs, four pairs to help solve or simplify, not solve, but simplify radicals. So here's a handout that I have. I'm going to go over four questions. Two of them are going to just have numbers, and two of them are going to have variables because some radicals have variables, and you should know how to do those too. So let me jump into this. Very first thing, I'm going to do number 4. This is 5 times, let's get this oriented the right way. This is going to be 5 times the square root of 432. Now, first thing you need to do is you need to factor the 432, and you need to factor it down as to the primes as much as possible. So you want to factor this to the primes, and then we're going to use our knowledge of exponents to help solve this. So let me do that. Now, for our class, we have a TI Nspire, so that's what we're going to use. So let me get this up. So if you go to the calculate screen and then you do menu 23, it's going to bring up the word factor. And if this will factor any number that you put in there. So in this case, I want to factor 432. So I'm going to put 432 in there. And then I press enter and it factors it. So it says 2 to the 4th power times 3 to the 3rd is the prime factorization of 432. So we're going to use that. So let's go back to the iPad. So here I'm going to factor this 432. Let me make this a little thinner. So this is 2 to the 4th, 3 to the 3rd. And we can write this as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's what the exponent 4 means. And we can write this as 3 times 3 times 3. Now, the reason that I'm doing that, I'm going to bring that over. I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it here. And basically what we're looking for now is we're looking for, since this is a square root, we're looking for pairs of numbers. So any set of any pair of numbers we can actually pull outside the radical. I say pull outside the house. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So what I'm going to do is, here's a pair of 2s. So I can bring that out. So I'm going to write that down here. So that's one pair of 2s. Here's another pair of 2 that I can pull outside the radical. And now every time you pull out a pair of 2s, you're going to be multiplying that number by whatever you pull out, okay? And now this one, I have a pair of 3s that I can bring out. So I'm going to put a 3 here. Now that's as much as I can do. I cannot bring this 3 out because there's only one of them. I need to have a pair of numbers in order to pull it outside the radical. So I have to leave this one inside the radical. So I'm just going to go the square root of 3. Now, the other stuff that I pulled out, as I mentioned, I'm going to be multiplying that. And remember, we already had a 5 there. So make sure that 5 is also getting multiplied. So now all I have to do to finish simplifying this is just multiply these numbers up. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. So this, as a simplified radical, would be 60 times the square root of 3. Now, remember, the key is you have to factor it. Once you factor it, use your exponent properties, expand it out, and then go look for, in this case, since we're doing square root, you're looking for a pair of numbers. Now, I'm going to show you the other image. I'm going to do one that's a cube root. Now, and let's get this up here. This is cube root. So, and I want to make sure this is clear. This is a 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to factor 128, prime factorize it, and then we're going to go look for 3 pairs of the same number. And if we find them, we can pull them outside the radical. So let's do that. So I'm going to use the calculator again. Now, if you want to know how to do prime factorization without the calculator, I'm going to link you guys to another video that I created that actually shows you how to factorize any number, but you've got to know your divisibility rules because that's basically what you need. But now I'm going to factorize this using the calculator. So menu 23, and then inside I'm going to put 128, 128, and then I just press enter. And it's done. So that says 2 to the 7th power. So I'm going to put 2 to the 7th power. Let me go back to the iPad. Now, 2 to the 7th just means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm multiplying 7 2s by each other. Now, I'm going to take that just like I did before, and I'm going to put it down here. Now, remember, we are taking the cube root, so that's a 3. So that means we're looking for 3 pair. So every 3 pair that I get, I can pull outside the radical. So I'm going to go in here, get 3. I'm going to bring that out. So that's going to be 2 here. And then I'm going to get the next 3, which is here. And I can pull that out. And that'll be another 2. And then I don't have any more 3 pair. So whatever is left stays inside the radical. And so I would just write this as the cube root of 2. And to simplify this, I would just multiply the 2 and the 2, and that's 4. So this would be 4 times the cube root of 2. That's how you simplify radicals. You factorize it, and then you go get whatever the root is. You get that, you're looking for that pair of numbers, and each pair that you get, you just pull out, and you're going to be multiplying whatever number you pull out. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one that has variables. So let me jump over to this other one, and I'm going to start with this one. And let me make sure it's clear what we're doing here. This is the cube root, so that's a 3, and it's the cube root of 448, b to the 7th power, h to the 2nd power. So now all I have to do is get the prime factorization of 448. So I'm going to write that 448, and I need to prime factor it. So let's go use the calculator again. We're going to do menu 23, and then we're going to put 448 inside, press enter, and it's the prime factorization is 2 to the 6 times 7. So that's what I'm going to write, 2 to the 6 times 7 on my iPad. Let's jump back over there, and let's prime, and let's go ahead and do this. Remember, 2 to the 6 just means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. There's 6 2's there. That's what the 6 means. And then remember, I also have a 7. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing with this b. I'm going to write that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So now I've taken care of that. And then let's do the h's. It's going to be, so there's 2. It's h squared, so it's going to be h times h. Now, remember, we are taking the cube root, so we're looking for pairs of 3. So anytime we can find a pair of 3 numbers or letters that are the same, we're going to pull them outside of the radical. So let me put a line down here, and I'm going to put, whatever pairs I get, I'm going to pull them out. So let's start with this. We got 3 pairs of 2's, so I can pull that outside the radical, and I'm going to write that down here. So that's 2. And then here's another pair of 2's, 3 pair of 2's, so I can take that outside, and I'm going to put another 2 there. Okay. Now I can't do anything with the 7 because there's only one of them, so that's going to remain inside the radical. And then I go over to the b's, and I'm going to do the same thing. Any 3 pair I'm going to pull out. So I pull that outside the radical, and I'm going to multiply by b. Here's another 3 pair. Oops, let me make sure this is clean. There's another 3 pair. I can pull that outside the radical. And then there's nothing left. There's no more 3 pairs. There's a b, there's 2 h's, but there's no more 3 pairs. So those have to remain inside the radical. So I'm just going to write them now. It's just going to be the cube root, and we got a 7, we got a b, and we have 2 h's, which would just be h squared. So that's it. Now, in order to finalize this, everything outside the radical, I just have to combine it, simplify it. So that's going to be 4b squared. So my final answer is going to be 4b squared, the cube root of 7bh squared. That's it. That's it. And that's how you factor when it has variables. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to post it to my channel. Okay, so let's bring this up. So we've got the square root of 275 b to the 3rd power, h to the 5th power. So we need this. We're going to need to factor the prime factors of 275. So if I go to the calculator and I do menu 23, that's going to give me, whoops, let's do that again. Menu 23. One more time. Menu 2, 3. All right, so now I just put in 275, so it's going to be 0.75. Press enter. And it says the prime factorization is 5 squared times 11. All right, so when you see that, that's the prime factorization. That's what we're going to use to put into the calculator. All right, so let's go back to the iPad and finish this up. So, by the way, that was my rice cooker going off, so ignore that. All right, so this is going to be 5 times 5 times 11, and then we have b to the third power, h to the, well, let me do this. This is going to be b times b times b, and this is going to be h times h times h times h times h. There's 5 of them. There's 3 b's. There's 5 h's. And now we're looking for, we're doing the square root, so we're looking for pairs of the same number or same letter, and we can take it outside the radical. So let's do that. We've got 2 5s, so we take that out. And let me draw my line down here so that I can write that. So that's going to be 1 5 that goes here. And actually, I'm going to make it blue. All right. And then, okay, we can't do anything with 11. So, but we do have 2 b's here. So that's, we can pull that outside the radical. And then the next b we can't do anything with, so that's going to stay inside the radical. And over here we have 2 h's that we can pull out, so that's going to be h. And then here we have another pair of h's we can pull outside the radical, that's going to be an h. And then we have this final h that we can't do anything with, so that's going to stay inside the radical, the square root. So it is going to be, we got 11, we have a b, and we have an h. And we're almost done. All we got to do is simplify this piece, and that's going to be 5b h squared times the radical square root 11bh. And that's the simplified form. So let me go back and recap. Always start by trying to prime factorize your whatever is inside the square root or cube root or fourth root or whatever, that number inside, we need to get the prime factorization. If there are if there are variables, they're already, most of the time the variables already are, they've already got factorized. So all you have to do at that point, once you get the prime factorization, is use the exponent properties, go ahead and map those out. And then if you're doing a square root, you're going to be looking for pairs of numbers or pairs of variables. If you're doing the cube root, you're going to be looking for 3 pair of numbers or 3 pair of variables. And then any pair that you find, you can pull outside the radical. And you're just multiplying those. And then whatever you cannot find pairs for remains inside the radical. And basically, that's how you simplify it. All right. I hope this has been clear. I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to sign off.